Hey, it's National Numeracy Day, so let's create an infographic all about shapes you've probably never heard of using Adobe Express. So what I've done here is I've taken 3 shapes which I'd never heard of before. I've found out some information about them, how I might describe them, and then I'm going to put them into an infographic using Adobe Express. So I've only got 3 here, so I've kept it quite nice and short. So in terms of the size, you can go to a custom size graphic and then maybe go for something like a square. That should be nice for this one. I mean, a poster would be good too, but I'll stick to a square. Okay, I'm going to get rid of those templates there. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a funky background on there. So let's go to backgrounds. I quite like this one in Paint. You can see more of them just by clicking that more button there. But I think that this one's grabbed my attention for whatever reason. It's gone straight into the back there. I really like it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the title. You see crazy shapes here. This is a really good research project that you can do with pupils. Add my text, paste in my the text that I copied from my document. I'm going to make it all onto one line, and then I'm going to bring it up to the top here. Make sure it's in the center. You can see that dotted line right down the middle. And then, it's quite boring in terms of text. So I'm going to go to my font recommendations, and I'm going to start scrolling through until I find something which I feel is a bit more appropriate. That's a nice one. I really like that because it's got all sorts of different shapes within the letters themselves. So let me grab that, make it slightly bigger, and then make sure that it's centered again. There we go. Good place to start. Now, let me have a look at my shape. So the first one is the triquetra. So I'm going to get that, and then I'm going to go over to my shapes over here. And what you'll find is a lot of these shapes are in there already. So I think I'm looking for something which is kind of chunky. So let me go for something like this one. So it's going to go in immediately as a certain color. You might want that color, you might not. I'm going to move mine over to the right hand side. I like the orange. I think it works well here. So I think I'll use that for my text box, but for my actual shapes themselves, I'm going to move my little circle all the way to the top left of my color palette there. That'll do for me. Now, maybe it's a little bit big, so I'll just reduce it down because I am going to get 3 shapes on here. And then what I'll do is I'll get my text here. And again, I'll just click the text button, add my text. And it's given me the same font as last time. Now, I don't want that one for this one, but let me just paste in my text itself. I'm going to align it to the left, I think, rather than have it aligned in the center. I'm going to start getting it down to roughly the size that I'm looking for. 4 lines is good, I think. And then once it's in that kind of shape, you can play with the size. I'll pop it in there. I like the way it gives me that alignment, so I know that it's not only aligned on the left-hand side, but also centrally or horizontally with the shape itself. And then I'm going to look for a font which I think is a bit cleaner, maybe something that is lowercase. I quite like that one. That's nice. It's nice and shapely as well, which is good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a shape on that text as well. Now, I did like that orange that it picked up before, so I'm going to go and try and find something similar. Yeah, that's good. I think that contrasts well with the purple. And then in terms of the shape itself, I'll make it into a box. And I think that looks better. Then I can play around and maybe align the box itself rather than the text to the left-hand side and horizontally as well. Now, I've done all that first because you can then use that box again by duplicating it, dragging it down roughly to where you want it. So I want that box aligned on the right-hand side now. Now, obviously, I don't want to repeat the same shape. I'm going to go for this lemniscate here. So I'm going to copy that text. I'm going to paste it into my text box. Text box roughly stays the same shape. I'm happy with that. No problem. Just checking the alignment again. And then I can go and grab this word here, put it into my shapes even, come out of text, go into shapes, and then go and find this one. And again, what I'm looking for is something quite chunky because that first one is, and I think that's a good way to show off the shape. So maybe something like this one will work really nice. Okay, now what I don't like is the way it's got these little gaps. So it's not a continuous sort of figure of 8 representing infinity. So I'm going to press replace, have it selected, press replace, and then go and look for something that's a little bit more appropriate or a little bit more continuous. Great, that one will do. Okay, now I've got it. This one's a little bit larger, so I'll just size it down and then I can align it not only to the left, but also horizontally as well. And then again, press my box, duplicate it, drag that down now to the other side so it alternates in terms of sides, and then roughly position it where I think it's going to go. Get my last shape here, which is the star of Lakshmi, which I just thought sounded brilliant. So I'm going to paste in my text there. Then I'll go and get the text itself for that shape. Go over to shapes, type that in, and then you will get some versions here which I think are perfect. I really like that one, but you have to be really careful that you make sure that you get the right one, because some of these aren't actually representations of the shape. So actually I'm going to get this one, which is kind of, because what it is about, it's an octagram made from 2 squares like you can see here, and some of those in that library aren't actually correct. So make sure you do your research and get it right. And then what I can do here is align it maybe with the triquetra at the top there, and then maybe I'll also just resize this box so it's a little bit bigger. You can keep it the same. That one's 100.8. That one's also 100.8. So maybe this one, I'll change it to 100.8 as well. Now, if you want to start playing with things like the alignments and where things sit, you can click and drag over the things that you want to move so that they all group together, and then just nudge that one up ever so slightly until I think that is perfectly spaced between the top and bottom shape. When I'm happy with that, I'm going to give my project a name. Here we go, Crazy Shapes. That will mean that when I download it to my computer and press start download, it will match the file name with the project name that I've given it, which is very handy. And you can also press share, publish, share it to Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or create a link which you can then copy and share with whoever you like. And there you go. That's how you create an infographic on shapes you've probably never heard of for National Numeracy Day using Adobe Express. And I'm looking forward to seeing yours.